We are operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. To you who are trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
Urchins. They can't touch this urchins, not the London urchins.
I'm a Keyforge player since I think 1 year since World Collide released, and so the team have participated to KOTE 6 and then KOTE 7, and now we try to play. I will play with Bertrand, inventeur de la Jungle Ardente, with a cool AOA deck who come from 78 SAS to 86. Who is quite huge for an AOA deck. And so you have cool combo like 4 Rooney with basic, but can be huge. You have also a nice Untame who can produce a lot of Ember and kit sheet easily. But he lack of board control, so we'll see if so the worst opponents for me is Worlds Collide, like the opponent team. So we will see. Just because it's not a Sorian World Collide with a big board, so I think we have more chance. Yeah, I think it's a good matchup for us. Good luck.
My name is Dominic. I'm from Poland. We are team Can't Touch This Keyforge team from Poland. We originated from Krakow. It's a city, maybe you heard about it, because last year we hosted 2 Vault Tours. This time I will be playing one of my favorite decks, and also one of my strongest decks. It's Geralt, and this matchup will be really challenging for me. Looking at my opponent's deck, it's really fast and really agile deck. You have a lot of out of house plays like helper bots. The Ember control is bizarre. It's like 4 running wrist clocks. So I will be always trying to forge my key before my opponent could control me. And also this Untamed with Soldiers to Flowers would be a pain in my bottom. Yeah, here it would be a pretty challenging matchup, and we'll be playing it twice because Geralt is playing. Every player from my team is playing Geralt right now, and 2 players from the opposite team is playing Bertrand. So yeah, it will be pretty challenging here. We're playing some practice games, but it's mostly it's a coin toss. It depends if I get my big board, because my opponent lacks any creature control apart from Strange Gizmo and Nature's Call. He could try to control me with Life for a Life and Sucker Punches, but if I get my Eddie with some extra upgrades, and that's pretty GG for him, because it's hard to destroy this Eddie. But on the other hand, if I don't get any of this, I would be in a big trouble here. it will be a really stressful match because for now we are undefeated in our group. We have lost like 2 matches, but right now I think that we could lose it. We could lose it like 2 or even 3 matches here because the decks from the opposite side are bonkers. They are really good. I hope all of your Ronnies and all of your helper bots are the last 7 cards of your deck. And good luck playing. Hi, Robik.
Hello.
So today we will be deconstructing matchup for 5th round of KOTE 7, and this time we will be deconstructing our matchup. So are you excited, Robik?
No, definitely, we actually spoke about many decks, but we haven't managed to prove our thoughts yet. And now is the time to put our money when our mouth is right
Yeah,
and
that's true.
play.
So here, the actual twist is that we will be all playing the same deck. So Kentagidis, the Urchins, is the team that will be deconstructing, and also our opponents are Les Poires. I believe it's pronounced this way, and we'll be playing the same deck. And our opponents will be playing 2 different decks. So it will be short, but actually, I believe we have a lot to say about our deck. So the 3 of us will be playing Geralt, Wajdak z Zatłoczonego Malborka. It's literally translated like Geralt, a scoundrel from the crowded Malbork. It sounds a lot like Geralt of Rivia, because it's also ultra fast and is ultra efficient, but sometimes it lacks some control. So here I could say that Geralt is actually a pretty nice rush deck. What do you think about this, Robert?
Yeah, definitely. High efficiency, really high speed. Basically, as you can see, there is 3.8 Ember control, a little bit more in the board control. The expected number seems low on the decks of Keyforge, but as you will be able to see on the stream when we will play, it can make some great swings with high Ember Rush, and definitely the key charge makes some work here. So I feel like the speed plus really nice combos in here will make it a really great rush deck, because if our opponent is as fast as we are, our Ember control seems a little bit lacking.
Yeah, I disagree with this 3.8 because sometimes I manage to pump it up to some really nice numbers, especially with 2 cards. Um, I'm using here a combo of Reassembling Automaton paired with Wild Spirit. Yeah, I always forgot this name. So Wild Spirit with Automaton, it could make a lot of difference here, especially if we could reap off house using Ghost Hoax. And this deck loves Ghost Hoax. Free nature calls, free 2 Ghost Hoax means that if your opponent is not controlling your board as efficiently as you are putting new creatures on, you will be always able to reap with almost all of your board in almost every time. Looking at some house cheats like Witch of the Wilds and Captain Vol Jericho, here we could see that this deck is really efficient. It could almost every turn play all of his cards. So I believe that here the Untamed and the Logos are the most valuable cards, valuable houses, but looking at Star Alliance and some pretty nice recurrences, we could play Chief Engineer Walls and take our upgrades from our discard pile, and each of this upgrade, Force Field and Double Light of the Archons, has some Ember. So it's also very efficient here. Also, we could use this Light of the Archons to pump some opponent creatures to be targeted by our Quintrino Flux. So here it's very agile. We could use our cards in some different than usual ways. So a lot of out of the box thinking, but also a lot of house cheating, a lot of making Ember and not looking at our opponent's side. What do you think, Rubik?
Definitely, Explore Over is actually the card which in many decks is really useless or it's not as good. But here with double walls and double Explore Over, you can make your Captain Bojeriho in the center of your battle line pretty easily, even though you have like 4 creatures in your battle line already, which is really tricky for some cases. And yeah, definitely many non-standard combos, and we are hopefully able to show them up on the Twitch, on the games, free games played with this deck, and 3 different person piloting. So it will be really fun to see how this deck is piloted by some uh, different like players, right?
Yeah, 3 different players, 3 different approaches. I personally hate decks with that little Ember control, but I love playing Geralt because it's so nice, it's so smooth. Okay, so maybe we could take a look at Bertrand. Inventeur de la Jungle Ardente. Yeah, so that's a French deck, I believe. It's a French team and a French deck. What do you think about this beautiful deck?
Yeah, you take the 4 strikes first. It's like triple helper bot and 4 Ronnie wrist clocks, right?
That's
But
bonkers.
what what I can see definitely here is that it's really hard to play deck because in almost every turn you will be staring at your cards and you have like many options, like 3 different houses will be really good, and what to play from the helper bot, how to archive some cards, when to play soldiers to flowers. Is Chota Hazari now worth purging on? And this is really hard deck to play, I believe. Definitely the uh, the Ronnies are really good, but most of the games, if it's your only Ember control, they will steal 1 because your opponent will go for 6, or they will try to key charge, as in Geralt case. But also the like matchup wise, this deck will struggle against heavy board decks, and only like must wipe will be the strange gizmo here. Without the gizmo on the board before like the second key, it's really hard to come back if your opponent is high on the board. You can see the life for a life, some nature's calls, but it's most of the time not enough, especially when our creatures are like so low in power, right?
Yeah, looking at this deck, I really love this these options that it provides. This helper bots, especially with some combos like playing helper bot, full moon, then another helper bot, then another helper bot, then nature call, and it's like amazing. But all these cards needs to be played in a very special sequence, a very special order, and sometimes you are asking yourself, is it worth it to archive helper bot, or maybe I would like to archive Ronnie wrist clocks, destroying them from Life for a Life next to Archimedes. Also, this not so good board here because your board is mostly 2 and 3, 2 and 1, 1 and 2 power creatures here. Of course, you have some Panpakas, but it won't be enough to, put your creatures on the board and control the board if you are playing against a deck that actually controls the board like Geralt. I believe that here, if you get the upper hand by playing Strange Gizmo early and actually destroying the whole board during your first or second key forging, you will be able to regain the tempo. But unfortunately, without the Strange Gizmo, without any board control, you could have some trouble here in this matchup.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting matchup for the matchup sake, right? Because what I can see it's this Untamed is the most powerful house in terms of creature power, but also we can just purge the whole house because there are 8 creatures, right? With Soldiers to Flowers, and just play 2 houses. As well as just basically you can see 28 expected Amber, which is like 9 more than Geralt on this side, of course, like using the dog counter. And I believe it can just rush the Geralt out, especially with most of the Geralt Amber control being captured, right? With the Xeno training and the whole shenanigans with Wild Spirit and the automaton. So I believe there is a chance it will just pop off from the start to finish, especially if you consider keeping your life for life with your helper bots just for the Valgeri host and like all Witch of the Wilds or Edice especially. So I see this matchup going either way. It will be really interesting to see how the owner of the deck or the friend of the owner, I don't know which deck it is, whom deck is this, but to see them play this deck, because when I see this deck, I feel like each time I will play this matchup, it will be a different game, and I can like make some strange adjustments while playing. That this matchup can go from like losing hardly to winning hardly either way.
Yeah, and also this Seismo Entangler really hurts Geralt because you could always play Logos. You are playing helper bots, so you are house cheating. So playing Logos is almost always a good choice. Also, using your Seismo Entangler early and mid game, you are forcing me to play other house, and using your Seismo Entangler on the late game, you are preventing some Ember Bursts from Ghost Hoax and Nature Calls. So it's a really hard counter here. If you are not able to play Logos, you are actually giving me an opening to make some Ember. But if I make some Ember, you are stealing it with Ronnie Risklocks. So the only counter to your counter to your Ronnies in my deck is Molefin. So I could control your board while you steal my Ember. Because every Ember stolen here is 1 damage to your creatures, and therefore with your really low power board, you will be probably stealing and destroying your whole board. Of course, here you could play some shenanigans like Jargoggle with some pretty decent card beneath it, and then steal with Helperbot to immediately destroy it. But it's a really hard combo
Yeah,
to
you can easily do it another way, like life for life,
Yep.
nerve blasting, and so on. But playing Jargle in this matchup is not a great idea because you are facing triple nature skulls, so most of the cards underneath the Jargle will be discarded. It's also the way to just make your hand better, right? The
Yeah.
hand management will be nice. But the thing in this deck is that also cards which are mostly useless, in my opinion, in the AOA set, are making value, like throwing stars. Imagine playing helper bots near your Archimedes and just throwing stars them.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You got a number, you archive your helper bot in the same turn, and also you are able to play other cards. So I believe this deck is really, really out of the box from the AOA, and this is the type of deck you really want to see, other than, of course, Merchant Generosity and Drummer not stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's really, really not like the standard AOA deck, and oh boy, it's fast. It's really combo-y and it's hard to play. I'm really, really, really looking forward to see these matchups, right?
Yep. Yeah, it will be fun. So I think that the coin toss is our agreed
Definitely.
our agreed chance to win for both of these decks, because it's really hard to say here. We don't want to smack our opponents here with our percentage, but also we are. I am especially, because I will be playing Geralt in this matchup. I'm really stressed because my opponent is playing a really nice deck. Okay, so let's go to the second one.
Right, hello.
Right. So we saw the opinion state.
So we see a quick mulligan from the top, and we see a Duskwitch. I do love a good turn one Duskwitch coming in from Kazam. Titko has the Val Jericho, which is always a great start. How do, Dan? You've just missed out on the giveaway information.
We're going to give it to everyone if they want it or not.
I am.
So-
Apparently there's an echo.
Yeah, I fixed that now.
Okay,
That's why I went quiet.
So Science Officer Queen Cam's going to be really good early. Val Jericho is definitely good early, and Edai. Archimedes coming in ready next to Duskwitch with an Igor following.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Drops uses the lab book, cut for research. Very nice done. Reaps, gets up to 4. There's Untamed on the board already. The Starline's logos on the board. Which
I'm
means
loving the
the
shadows in Curzon's hand.
Oh hell yeah! But the main issue is the
Too early.
the Duskwitch is so much of a threat that it needs to be dealt with, which means
Mm-hmm.
there's no Amber to be kept. Kazam is in a bit of an issue here.
Yep. But on the other hand, help a bot with Duskwitch to get it back out again isn't a terrible idea to say.
Exactly, and that's pretty
There
much
we
the
go.
exact lineup I went up here. But no, keeps the
Oh.
Duskwitch in the archives.
I wonder if that's a
What?
misplay or what.
We're gonna see the Reap. We're gonna see the Reap on the Igor, and then it's gonna be a life for life.
To throw the Igor in the helper bot or the Igor into the helper bot. Yep.
The health bot into
It's
the
Edai.
Edai. Wants to forge cheaper, but does keep the Val Jericho down. We can
But-
see that on the board. That was a bad decision because we can see how many creatures are there, but it's still a really good play to go down. This Archimedes is getting a lot of value, but now for Witch of the Wilds down. This means that if Val Jericho's in the middle, they can play 2 cards.
Oh, there's
One
the
logo for one
self-automaton.
chain.
That's the self-automaton son.
Self-boosting automaton with a load of creatures down is going to be really good. Inca comes down to get Igor and uses Nature's Call to bounce the Archimedes and the Ghost Hawk. So, Kazam does get the key. Sucker Punch gets rid of Quincan after the steal. Renewist Clock steals another one. And does some damage thanks to the Molfin. Molfin do some nice work. Running Clock again gets rid of the Val Jericho and gets running down, gets up to 4. So, Kazan, although losing the board battle, is 66% of the way towards the second key. Whereas Titko hasn't even forged the first yet.
Well, it's got
Entropic
6 now
Swirl,
though. Yep.
Entropic Swirl gets Data Forge gets to 7. Drops the Ghost Hawk, reaping up to 9. Passes over there.
Not a lot of theft there, but
Kazan a little bit confused as to how he was able to play Ghost Hawk, but Witch of the Wilds takes that. Discards Duskwitch, discards Momo Swarm. It looks like going for just a big Soldiers to Flower play. does purge Titko's other Ghost Hawk, but gets himself because I'm getting to 10.
Yeah.
We can see there's a we can see there's a Wind Spirit, which is gonna possibly.
I've never seen a Witch in the Wilds be alive this long.
Oh, I love getting a Witch of the Wilds out for a long time. It's so goddamn good. So Nature's Call here, bouncing the free untamed creatures so that Ghost Hawk can reap with on-self-boasting automaton and Igor, capturing 1.
Yep.
Taking Titko up to 12 and knocking Kazan down with no real pips in hand. Helperbot does not do anything with Sucker Punch here. That is a wasted card. Seismo Tangler and Untamed is a good call. Getting down the post Pixies is good as well, but you need a way to stop Titko getting this 3rd key.
Well, he's got an extra turn, don't forget. So he just gets the cards out of his hand.
And
He'll
there's
be in a
still
good
2
place.
money to the deck.
Yeah. There's a miasma there now, so he gets an extra turn.
We see the miasma. So goes for reap. Nature's Call off the Witch of the Wilds, bouncing everything back to hand. The hand pollution is huge here. Reaps with self-boasting automaton, taking Kazan down even lower. Positron Bolt coming down. Wild Wormhole Technician. Let's look at this go. Drops a no exploiter. Wards up. Wards up bolstering automaton and draws the key charge. Doesn't even get the extra turn from the miasma. Kazan was in a strong position moving forward with this. Yes, Jupiter definitely might want to buy a board wipe here.
You can buy board wipes? Now you tell me.
Not tonight, turn 6. Titko goes untamed, drops key charge, no messing about. Just basically goes, I get the win. GG,
That's a great
GG.
game. So I know you cut the games down in length much, but how much did you cut out of that game? Was that all? I mean,
that was 40 minutes. That was 40 minutes. I'll go into after the chat.
Hello.
Hello again.
It was an intense
I
game.
love the icon.
Yeah, we have tried the Rage, but
Are we muted?
yeah,
No.
that's not go well for us.
I was waiting for your strange gizmo because I was afraid of your strange gizmo.
Yeah, anyway, it was at the end, like full moon and oh.
Yeah, and also when you played the Soldiers to Flowers, I was okay, so Chota now. And it was without Chota, and I was like, whew, okay, so I have some time here.
The only hope was like key charge at the complete end of your deck.
It was really important to get this because you were like 4 Ember at the end, and next turn you play your Chota and you forge the key, and yeah, that's GG for me. So I had to play this key charge.